These are my broccolini plants. I've got a bunch in this can and a bunch in this can, and I actually should have tied these up. I pulled one out, but yeah, I actually got a late bloomer here too. This one here, this plant decided it was going to wait like 2 months behind the rest of them and then flower and then set the seed, but I'm not going to worry about that one. But all the rest of these have been ready to go, been ready to be harvested about a month now, and here it is the end of July. And I'll bring you in closer and show you these. But before I do, now if you're going to save your own seed, you want to make sure that you're not trying to save the seeds in close proximity of like kale, cabbage, kohlrabi, regular broccoli, broccoli rabe, things like that. They're all in the same family, so you want to make sure that you don't try to harvest them or you don't let them bloom at the same time. For instance, now this kale isn't bloomed yet. You'll notice it's set some flowers, and I'm going to pull this plant out because it's got flowers on it, and I'm going to let this go ahead and flower. So they're not flowering at the same time. But so I'm going to bring you in and show you now. When these start to get brown and they start to dry up, a lot of people have asked me before, do you keep watering? And I actually do keep watering. As long as there's a little bit of green in them, I keep watering because I believe that they're still taking up water. And then once they're brown enough where I think that they're not going to be taking up any more water, I cut back and I just leave them here for a week or two and just let them completely dry out. It doesn't hurt them at all. But what they will do is if there's a little bit of wind, they will pull out because they don't have really deep root systems. You'll see here like this. Look at how small that root system is, very short. So they will pull out once they dry out especially. And then the roots, start to dry and then they get weak. But let me bring you in and show you what these look like. And I do have one here. This is kind of, it's actually kind of nice that this one waited because I can show you the flowers on it. Let me show you. So they all look the same, as far as broccolini and broccoli rabe. They all look the same when they're flowering. So they'll produce these little flowers like this because basically a head, let me show you this. Let me pull this off here. See, they look like this. And so it'll form a head. So basically a broccoli head is, the floret is all just flower buds. And then you let them flower, they'll come up and they'll go to seed. And what happens is once the flower dies back, so you got the flower will die back, and behind it right here, here's where the flower was, it'll produce this pod. This pod dries out, and inside this pod are the seeds, like that. Very, very small as far as this broccolini goes. Well, broccoli seeds are small too, so just like that. So I'm gonna harvest these, and the way that I harvest them is they're very delicate. When you start shaking these, like if I was to take these and start shaking them, those pods will blow apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them off and put them into a paper bag and then harvest them that way. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I found this bucket. This is a lot better. So let me show you this here. You take it like this and then just push this like that, and it just strips those seeds right out of there. And of course it does take, like you'll notice here, like it's split and half of it came off, half of the pod. So the half of the other pod went into the bucket, but that's okay, because then I can just take and throw these away. And there may be one or two that didn't get split open. So then you just take and rub them like this. And then pretty much all that is spent. There's one there, all the rest of those are spent. One of them that didn't get. But like that, see, those are all spent. And of course the seeds fall to the bottom. You can see all those seeds in the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? In just those few stalks, I've got thousands of seeds in there. So it's very simple to do. I mean, depending on how much you're going to save. If you're just saving for next year's growing, well then that's enough right there. You've got plenty right there. But of course, these are all going to be on my website, growyourheirlooms.com, so I'm harvesting them all. Let's see if I can show you the seeds right there. See, look at all those seeds. Now what I'm going to do is, with what little bit is left, I'm going to run these through the seed sorter and blow all this stuff completely out. So saving these seeds are easy peasy. Now, see, I've got this plant here that's way behind the others. This is getting pulled out because I've got kale that's going to be actually going to seed, and I don't want them to actually be blooming at the same time. So before those start blooming, this comes out. So, goodbye. I hate to do it, but you have to be brutal. I don't know what kept this one 2 months behind all the rest. I don't know. It's a mystery, but oh well, compost. So that's all there is to saving broccolini, broccoli seeds, broccoli rabe. They're all the same. Well, they're not the same, but you harvest them the exact same way. This is what they look like at the top. But piece of cake. And then what you do is you take and you can plant these seeds in the fall if you want, or wait till next spring, but definitely a cool season vegetable. So that's all there is to saving these seeds.